Alright guys, so today we're going to talk about the equipment that I use for coon hunting. I get a lot of requests, I get a lot of questions about the stuff I use, why I use it, different things like that. So today we're going to cover everything. We're going to cover everything from the footwear that I use to the lights, the collars, all the way down to the ammunition that I use. We'll cover the firearms that I use, and just we'll throw in a few other little tips and tricks and techniques that I've learned over the years with all my coon hunting. So sit back, enjoy. I hope you guys enjoy this video. I've had a lot of requests, so here we go. Alright, so we'll get started here, and first thing I want to talk about is the footwear that I use. I've used something similar to this for as long as I've been coon hunting. Before I knew that this product existed, I used a set of briar-proof chaps made by Dan's, and just a normal pair of your standard rubber insulated boots. These, however, are the Yoder Super Chaps. It's actually a waterproof, briar-proof chap that's attached to, in this case, a muck boot. Now this is very nice to have while coon hunting. First off is you've got the briar-proof material here, and you know, a lot of times you're going through the big sticker bushes and the briar bushes and everything else, so it's handy to have that. And also these are like hip boots, and they're completely waterproof for the whole length of them. So if you need to cross a creek or something like that, which a lot of times we need to do, these are just the perfect footwear basically for that type of situation. So I always wear a set of those whenever I hunt. All right. Now next we're going to talk about the collars that I use. Now many of you guys have seen my hunting videos, and you see you know, the GPS tracker or the collar on the dog, and I've been running Garmin Astros for a very long time. I started out with the Astro 220 and the DC 30 collar many years ago, and you know, it was a good product. It had a few flaws, but here for the last 3 years I've been running this. This is the Garmin Astro 320, and I've got it with the DC 50 collar. Now the DC 50 collar is a vast improvement over the DC 30 collar, especially whenever it comes to range. It's also, with the new setup, I can track multiple dogs. This is basically what I would consider the top of the top here. This is awesome, and I'll just quickly explain this for those of you who don't know what this is. What this unit here, you've got a GPS device here, handheld GPS, and you've got a tracking collar. Now this collar goes on your dog, and what it allows you to do is in real time basically watch your dog's movements on this screen. It'll have you can show where your dog is on a map in relation to where you are. It'll show the yardage distance, how far away your dog is. If you have it paired with other dogs, this unit here will run up to, I believe, 10 different collars. You can see where your dog is in relation to other dogs and you. Just a whole bunch of information that we really appreciate. You know, whenever I first started coon hunting, you'd cut the dogs loose and you know, you hope you got them back, kind of thing. You know, there wasn't a lot of weekday hunting. If you had to get up and go to work or something else, you may be out real late running the dogs. With this, you can track them. You know, it's very accurate, very handy. Also, what this has, it's kind of a neat feature. It'll show the barks per minute whenever your dog's treed. So that's kind of a nice feature. It's got some built-in features where, you know, you can see if your dog's on point or if he's treed and different things like that. But mainly what I use this for is just to keep track of them. And it's just it's a lifesaver. They're a little costly to get into, but once you get into them, they're definitely a good investment. Now on top of this collar, I use a flashing beacon light here. I'll just turn this on here quick for you, and I usually run this setting where I've got the strobe feature, where it's actually flashing, and that's really visible. I mean, even though I've got the ability to see where my dog is, you know, line of sight through the timber, you can see this thing flashing a long ways, and as you're walking up to a treed dog, you know, it's just a little helper. So I run that, and that's a big benefit also. All right, I'm going to talk about a leash. Now, a leash is very important. Number one, you're talking about, you know, these are big dogs. They kind of take you where they want, kind of thing, a lot of times. So a good leash is handy. I prefer a shorter leash. You can see, you know, this is my arm spread here, and the leash is shorter than that. I like to keep my dog close. A lot of times you're going through timber that's real thick, real nasty. If you got a big long leash, you know, your dog, he goes one way, you go the other, you get tied up. This here allows me to keep my dog close. This is actually one that I made myself. You know, basically to my specs. It's got a nice loop here where I can put my hand through it, and I can maintain control of that dog. I've got really heavy duty clips on it. And another thing, if you're coon hunting, a lot of guys will tree tie their dogs. You know, I don't do it so much anymore, but I did whenever I first started hunting the dogs. Or if we have new dogs, or some that may kind of like to fight if you whenever you shoot the coon out, you can tree tie them. And so what I've done on this leash is, you can see I've added this ring here, and I've got a clip on both ends. And basically what this allows me to do is I clip the dog on this lead here, and then I can go around the tree, and I can clip to that lead, and it just kind of chokes around the tree, and then your dog is tree tied. And to take him loose, you don't have to unhook the dog. You can just simply take this clasp loose, and you're good to go. And it doesn't sound like much now, but whenever you're in the timber and you've got coons and dogs and everything else, it's always kind of hectic. So a good lead is really a benefit. All right, now moving on to the light setup. Now there are an infinite number of lights out there. You know, you can go from the old school bulb style to LEDs, different manufacturers, everything else. I'm not endorsing anyone. I'm just telling you what I've used over the years, and I've had really good success with it. You know, whenever I started hunting, you know, we'd take your little camping light, and then you'd carry around them big spotlights with 6-volt that never lasted and everything else. And slowly you upgrade the more and more you get into it. You know, this is what I've had. I've now had this unit here, I believe, for 7 or 8 years. I've had it for a long time, and it's always done me real good. This particular light is a 21-volt Moonshiner light. Moonshiner being the brand. Now, I know there'll be a lot of guys disagree with me, but I'm old school whenever it comes to shining coons. I like the old school bulbs. I like that yellow light. White LED, for me, does not shine the eyes of the coon like the yellow does. I think I can just see the eyes better. So, you know, whenever you're choosing a light, you know, you may take a buddies out or experiment a little bit, but I personally like that yellow light. I think them eyes show up just a little bit better. Now, this is a 21-volt belt light. It's all built into this one unit here. There's 5 or 6 different switches here on the light. Different settings, high and low. 21 volts pretty bright, and 21 volt will last a pretty good night. I mean, we consistently go out and hunt for, you know, several hours and shine different coons. So your light's on high, everything else, you know, pretty good light. Now, along with the light, you can see this. I've got the more of the miner style light here, and then you'll also notice that on the belt right here, I've got this detachable spotlight. Okay, couple different reasons for this. Number one is backup. You always want backup whenever you're talking about coon hunting. You know, these lights have bulbs in them, and they will burn out. And there's nothing worse than getting up to a coon, treed, and your dog's hammering on the tree, and you go to turn on your light, and that bulb burns out right then, and you've got no way to shine him. You know, and I know some guys are going to say, well, if you had an LED, that wouldn't be the fact. But, you know, it is what it is. This is just a backup. This is a very bright spotlight. I'm not sure the candle power, but it's a good, nice, bright light. Also, depending on the way you shoot the coons, you know, this light here is nice and extendable. You can actually, you know, hold it like this at the forearm of your gun, you know, and use it to sight down. So, you know, backup number one, couple different reasons to have this. Now the hat. Okay, this is actually made by the company Nightlight. You know, you've got your bump style hats, kind of like your hard hat style hats, and then you've got these baseball style caps. I like these baseball style, I like this particular baseball style cap strictly for the fact this cap here has a built-in light. You can see that light right there. And you know, it just takes a couple watch batteries here, and it's got a couple different settings on it. It's really nice. And you know, as you're walking through the timber, going, you know, to your treed coon, you don't have to be running this big light. And it kind of saves your night eyes, you know, too, because this isn't very bright, and just a big time saver. So I added this, and I've been real happy with this. Now this light here, like I said, 21 volt. This light has actually been underwater. I was crossing a creek on about 3/4 inches of ice several years ago, and I fell completely through. And so this light actually went underwater for a time. I brought it home, dried it out, and everything else, and it's always worked perfect. If you get these style of lights, I highly recommend the smart chargers for them. And what the smart charger does is it kind of works like a battery maintainer, like a battery tender. So as it charges, once it hits full charge, it will just kind of maintain that. You know, because with a lot of these batteries, if you say you forget the charger and it's just putting voltage to it, it can definitely you know, lessen the life of your battery. You know, and these things are not very cheap. I think this setup here, this whole setup was right around $300. So I mean, you've got a little bit of investment, but well worth the money. Okay, so what I've got here next is my hunting coat. This is my dedicated coon hunting coat, and I've got a lot of stuff in it. And it's just what I keep. It's dedicated just for that coon hunting, so I know everything's always there. And so what I'm going to do here is I'm going to put this coat on, and I'm going to get the cameras resituated, and then I'll just pull everything out as I need it and kind of explain to you why I chose this coat and the way I go about packing things. All right, so I put my coat on here, and I just wanted to kind of share with you, you know, what I've got set up here. This is basically what I look like whenever I go coon hunting. You know, I've got my light, my everything on here, so you can just kind of see how I work everything. This particular coat that I have on it's made by the Nightlight company. It's a very nice coat. It's set up real nice for the coon hunter. You know, you've got a couple big pockets right here. Different areas. They even have a pouch for your Garmin. The inside here is lined with a kind of a fleecy lining, so you can take it out depending on if you're hunting in the warmer climates or the colder climates. The outside is a waterproof, briar-proof material, which makes it really nice. You know, we hunt in a lot of briars and sticker bushes and different things like that area. And whenever I put my boots on, you know, that are the briar-proof material in this, I can literally just kind of bear hug myself, and I can just full bore walk right into the thickest of the briars and then just slide right off. So that's a very big benefit. You can see here, this is normally how I wear my leash across here, so I can get to it real accessible. So I'll start kind of going through this coat here and just share with you. On my first pocket here, I've got a good pair of leather gloves. You know, a lot of times it's cold. You know, coon hunting happens in the winter, it's cold. Nice gloves are needed right there. Secondly, right here in this pouch is where I keep my GPS. You know, you're always pulling this thing out, so it's really nice to have it accessible. This coat here has a nice little pouch there for you to get it accessible. I've went a step further, and I've added a small carabiner here to the lanyard, and I've put a small zip tie here on my coat. And what this allows me to do is actually clip my my GPS to my coat, you know, which is very important. These are high dollar equipment. You're constantly walking through the timber, nothing worse than losing this thing. This keeps me attached, and I don't know how many times I've had this in my hand, went to go put it in my pocket and missed and dropped it, you know, and different things like that. And this catches everything. Secondly, you'll notice that this particular coat has two zippers, one coming from the top and one coming from the bottom. Very, very nice. You'll notice I've got my light on, but you can't see it. This is because I'm wearing my light underneath my coat, and I've got my cord for my light running up through the coat. What this does is this keeps everything kind of protected as you're going through the bushes, and this cord here a lot of times will get caught on stuff if you've got it just dangling back there. So I always wear it like that. It keeps everything nice and compact and contained, basically. In this upper pocket here, I have a piece of rope that I've got a couple leg loops made into it here, and I've got a small pocket knife. You guys have seen me in other videos where if I tree a coon and it may be half, 3/4 of a mile out there, and I've got another one to cut the dogs loose, I'll skin the coon right there on site, and this just helps me out. It's always right there in that pocket. Packing out that skin is a lot better than packing out big 20-pound bore coon. Coming out here to this next pocket here, this is my main pocket here where I carry everything. I've got my clip to my gun. Guys, whenever you're doing this, never carry around your gun loaded. There's instances where your bolt might be able to open and close, and it's actually happened to me, you know, in the past, where I get to the tree and I had the clip in the gun and all the bullets have gone. You know, they've all been ejected out just by working it. So always carry you know, your clips, and don't ever load up until you're at the tree. Just a good rule of thumb. So I've got my clip, I've got some more ammunition here in this pocket. I've got spare batteries for the GPS. You never know whenever they go bad and you need them. And then I've got my coon squaller also in here. Nothing fancy, just a cheap coon squaller. Just nice to have, kind of a first aid kit of sorts is what I carry with me. Finally, I carry these things here. And what this is nothing more than some mason line drilled through the center of a piece of 3/4 inch PVC pipe. And what this allows me to do is I can make a loop like this, and I can cinch that around the foot or the back feet of a coon, and it gives me a T-handle that I can carry him out. If any of you guys have ever tried to carry out a coon for a long ways, you'll know just the fact of having to grip and grasp on that coon's back legs for a long period of time is real hard on your hands, and this just allows you just to carry it real easily. So that's really about it. That's the majority of what I carry. Now for the way I've got my rifle set up, I carry the small screwdriver, just a small Phillips screwdriver, and I'll get into that whenever we talk about the gun. Other than that, guys, you can kind of see why I have a dedicated coat. There's a lot of stuff in here. It works out just real nice. So finally, I'll switch back and we will talk about the firearm that I use. All right, guys, so finally we're going to talk about the firearm that I use. I get a lot of questions about this, and you know, this is kind of one of them, whatever you choose. I have used a vast number of firearms over the years, and you know, I'm just going to tell you the one that I've settled on to be what I prefer, the best of what I've used of. You know, a lot of guys use a 22, and that's fine. I used a 22 for the longest time, but I'm going to tell you there are better options. As far as pistol or long gun, I used a pistol for a long time. Strictly because it was small. I used a small pistol with iron sights. I put a laser on it, and it was great. Now that being said, there was a number of times that you needed that second shot. You know, you may not be able just to hit that head if that coon was way up there. You know, now that was fine until prices started to rise. You know, and back in 2011, 2012, prices really started coming up, and it was you know, it was pretty important that you put that one hole in that coon and right in his head, and that way, you know, you got the best price. And that's whenever I started moving from the pistols to the long rifles, just for the accuracy fact. So with that being said, this is the rifle that I use, I have used, and I feel personally that you know, this round, it's not just particularly this rifle, but this round in general is about the best. This particular rifle that I use though this is the Marlin XT17. It's a 17 caliber bolt action made by Marlin. This is stainless steel synthetic. There's nothing fancy about this gun, but that's a good thing. You're gonna beat these guns up packing them through the timber all the time. Stainless steel barrel, you don't have to worry about that. Synthetic stock, you don't have to worry about that. Just a good kind of a user gun. Very accurate, very accurate. I'm a big fan of the Marlin brand of rifles, period. Nice accu trigger and everything else. As far as the optics go, you know, you can use iron sights, that's just fine, but whenever you've got a coon 50, 60 feet up in a tree and you want to put it, you know, right there, good kill shot, you know, a scope is always a good addition. This here, I really like the illuminated reticle scopes. This is not a fancy scope by any means. It's a center point scope. I mean, $50 or so, and I mean, you're gonna, you know, there's a chance that these aren't going to last. These guns really get worked whenever you hunt all the time. But it's got illuminated reticle. It's a 3x9 power. On average, I leave it, you know, that 5 to 7. That's a good range. You can really kind of zoom in. The illuminated reticle makes it really nice. Now, all this being said this is not the first scope that's on this gun. You know, you slip down a creek, knock your scope off, you get to the tree and scope's not on and everything else, and you know, you got to get that coon out. So I mentioned I carry a small screwdriver with me. I always have my Leatherman on me usually too, but what I did is I right inside this butt plate here, it's a Phillips screwdriver, and I can take that off. I've got an Allen wrench inside there, and the scope mount for this gun, I wasn't able to get see-through mounts, but I can take this mount off this gun, and I've had to do this, you know, like I said, by knocking the scope off. But I can take this mount, and this gun has iron sights on it too, and I've had to use the iron sights. So just kind of back up over back up over back up, you know, to kind of get the job done. And like I said, whenever you're out there, you know, 3/4 mile or half a mile, or you know, and it's just nice to have all these things in line. It's just things that I've picked up over the years, you know, that's helped me. Good scope cover's nice. This one here isn't the best, but it works. You know, debris getting in the scope and whatnot. So anyway, that is what I use. As far as ammunition goes, like I said, whenever prices went up, and it was really, you know, to me, it's still nice and critical to get that one good shot on the coon. With the 17, there's a big variety of options in ammunition. Now, I've tried a lot of them, and what I found to be the best is this is the CCI 17 game point rounds. It's a jacketed soft point. It's a hollow point, basically. And what this round does is, as soon as it makes contact, it explodes. So even shooting a coon, you know, as low as 20, 25 feet, very rarely will you ever get an exit wound with this. This round goes in, just kind of disintegrates, and it's a very, very fur-friendly round. As far as the 17 goes to the 22, these 17s are going to knock your coons out. These coons aren't going to take the 22 and crawl up, and you got to hit them again. These 17s, you get them once with this, and they're done. That is my big reason for going with 17. Like I said, I changed to this whenever prices were high, and it was critical for me to get that one shot, one kill. You know, no damage to the fur. And as many of you guys know, you know, if you knock that coon out dead to your dogs, even if your dogs will mouth them, and I let my dogs, you know, they mouth every coon that I shoot out to them. That's their reward. You still won't end up with no holes. Now, if you shoot that coon out and he's still got some life in him, usually dogs, that's whenever they tear into him. So, you know, that's the biggest reason for shooting this round, this one shot, one kill. So finally, I want to talk about the sling. This is something I come up with. I'm not sure if there's anything else out there like it. If there is, I didn't know about it. I made this sling. It's two slings. What this does is, I'll put this gun on. This allows you to wear your gun like a backpack, okay? And there's a couple reasons for this. If you wear your gun, you know, traditional, you know, right here, it's hard to control. It's hanging off the side. If you wear it across like this, well, where's your barrel? It's not in line with any other part of your body. If you're bending down, going around trees, this barrel's constantly getting caught on different things. If you wear your gun like this, like a backpack, the barrel follows your head everywhere you go. And it just makes it a lot nicer packing a long gun through the timber, you know. And like I said, that was one of my biggest reasons I always use a pistol, was the fact I didn't want to pack a long gun. So whenever it came to it, I kind of came up with that. Like I said, I'm not sure if there's anything else like that, but it sure helped me. So finally, guys, I know this video went really long, but had a lot to cover and had a lot of information to share with you guys. Had a lot of requests for the video, so hope I covered everything for you guys that you needed to, that you asked for, and everything else. It was fun making this video. In conclusion, like I said, basically, if there's anything else you guys want me to talk about, feel free to ask me. I'm not opposed to make you know, a short video or something to help a guy out. So anyway, guys, hope you enjoyed this video. Till next time, thanks for watching.